Hi, this is Jack Godfrey, and this is Intermediate Qigong. In this class, which is presented in a class format, we're going to focus on a few movements from open and filling the 8 vessels. I also offer 3 videos a week on YouTube: Intermediate Qigong on Monday, Beginner Qigong on Wednesday, and Beginner Tai Chi on Friday. Also, on Saturday, I offer a live Zoom class at 9 a.m. Saturday morning, Atlantic time. If you'd like to take part in that live class, send an email to jack.godfrey49@gmail.com, and I'll add you to the distribution list for the invite to that Saturday morning video. In today's class, we'll be doing some warm-up movements to get the body ready to go, and then we'll get into a couple movements from open and filling the 8 vessels, and then we'll wrap up with our 5-direction moving meditation. Now, the open and filling the 8 vessels series is a little different from other series in that we hold the movements once we get into them for several breaths. Now, the other ones, such as the 8 pieces of brocade, we're moving all the time. So we move on the inhale and we move on the exhale. In this series, you move into the posture, into the movement, into the position, and you hold there for several full breaths. And then we move to the opposite side and do the same thing. We hold for a few breaths. So it's different, but it's also great for the body. And now it's time to move on to the class. So as always in our classes, we start with our standing posture. And we're in the early summer right now at the time of this recording. And so that we're going to be working on embracing the heart, which is to do with the early summer season, which involves the heart and the small intestine. So we want to set up our feet as usual, outside of hips, outside of feet, one above the other. And so you look down at the feet, you want to have the feet parallel, so the toes pointing straight ahead and the heels directly behind. Also the outside of the hips, the outside of the feet, one above the other. A method you can use to check this out is put all the weight on one leg. Lift the heel of the other leg. Lift the toes. And now swing on the ball joint of the foot. Bring the heel around towards the other foot by the ball joint as well. And adjust the foot a little bit so that the heel is just about touching. There might be a little gap. There might be a little overlap. That's fine. Now lift the toes of that foot again. Lift the heel. Swing it back behind. And you put the foot down. And make sure the feet are still parallel. This has set up our foundation for our standing position. Now bend the knees ever so slightly. So you don't want to have the knees locked. That's discomfort for the knees, can cause damage over time. So you want to have the knees slightly bent. Grab the hips with the thumbs towards the back. Push down with the thumbs. Pull the tailbone into the body. Pull the belly button in. Lift the ribs. Lift the chin. And we're gazing off into the distance where the heavens meet the earth. We're not looking up to the heavens or down to the earth. We want to look at where they join, way off in the distance. And now lift the top of the head to the heavens. You want to lengthen the spine, creating some space between the vertebrae. And now you want to move on to the small triangle. So we're back to the foot, back to the feet. Weight in the toes. Keep the heels on the floor. This is the small triangle. Big toe, little toe, and the ball joint. That's the small triangle. Shift the weight into the heels. Keep the toes on the floor. This is the large triangle. Big toe, little toe, and heel. You'll find that we do a lot of shifting our weight between the small triangle, the front of the foot, and the large triangle, the whole foot, through all of the many movements in the Qigong sequence. So we're on the small triangle, then we move into the large triangle. And now we're going to move into embracing the sun. Embracing the heart. So bring the hands up, palms up, so they're about the same height as the elbows. Pull the elbows back behind you a little bit. Turn the hands out to the side and bring the elbows towards each other. This is opening our chest, giving a stretch to the top of the ribs. And now, bring the hands out to the side. Grab a big beach ball and pull it into the top of the chest. So the thumbs are pointing up, fingers are pointing towards each other, and the palms are facing you. And now inhale, we drift onto the small triangle, lift the ribs slightly. Exhale, drift into the large triangle, drop the ribs slightly. Inhale, we come forward. This is a dragon's back when we lift the ribs. Exhale, we move back, a turtle back when we drop the ribs. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling. Inhale, we drift forward onto the small triangle. Exhale, we drift back onto the large triangle. And now we let the arms relax. We come down to the side. So I want to talk a little bit about the music that's playing here. And it's very basic. It's got some tapping and some dinging, and there's a drone in the background. But the key point here is that the taps are 1 per second, and there's a ding every 4 seconds. That's what that's doing, and we want to encourage us to breathe deeply and slowly. So the slower we move, the deeper we breathe, the better it is for our chi and our shan, our chi, our energetic body. So the more we breathe in, draw the oxygen, the air into the body, the more vigor the body is going to have. And taking the 4 seconds every ding, so we breathe in till the ding happens, we breathe out till the ding happens. And we move in concert with this as well. So as we breathe in, we move into the posture, and then we hold for several dings. And then while we're holding, we're breathing in and we're breathing out in concert with this ding as well. So the music is important. Also what it does is it requires us to pay attention with our mind to what's going on. So we're not just hanging out and breathing and thinking about anything else in the world. We need to pay attention to the bell so that we breathe and move at the right time. So now we're going to move into some warm-up movements to get the body ready to go. So we start with shaking the 9 gates. Your hands are wet. Shake the water off your hands. So the 9 gates, places in the body where the chi tends to get stuck. And it's the major joints in the body that could be stiff or inflamed. So the elbows, the wrists, and the shoulders are one set. That's what we've got going on here. And then we add in the knees, the hips, and the ankles. And that's the second set of 3. The third set of 3 is the lower back, the ribs, and the neck. So you turn and look over the shoulder to get a really good twist going on. You come back to the front. You twist the opposite way. So inhale, we're here. Exhale, we look over the shoulder. Inhale, we're back to the front. Exhale, we look over the other shoulder. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So one more on each side. And we come back to the front. And you bring, and you stop. You should have some color in your hands, a little bit of pink and some tingling going on. This is us getting the chi out to the extremities. Your hands should be warm. Your feet should be warm. And now we're going to move on to standing on a boat. So we drift forward, lift the ribs, lift the arms, we lift the gaze. Then exhale, we move back into the large triangle. So inhale, dragon's back as we come up. Exhale, turtle back as we come down. Inhale, we lift the ribs, lift the gaze. Exhale, drop the ribs, drop the gaze. And we'll do one more of these. And now we're moving on to swinging the dragon's whiskers. It's going to get some twisting movement in our torso here. So you let the arms swing from side to side, getting a good twist in the spine. Turn the head, look over the shoulder. Let the arms swing from side to side, increasing flexibility in our torso. So the hips stay facing front as we twist the torso. We'll do a couple more of these. And then we come back to the front. Now there is a variation on this one. So this is called swinging the dragon's whiskers. And the other one is called flinging sleeves. So imagine you have long sleeves that are draping down. And what we're going to do is we're going to fling those sleeves behind us. So we start here, we turn to the side, and the hands come up high. You tap the shoulder and you point behind. We come down here and we point to the opposite side. So this is flinging sleeves. Another, well, it's just a variation on the previous one, but it helps develop some flexibility in the spine as well. And we'll do a couple more. All right, and now we come back down. So now we're going to move into working on a few movements from the open and filling the vessels. But first of all, we're going to pull down the heavens 3 times. So it's the inhale, you turn to the right, gather the chi from the earth. Reach up to the heavens, stretch the hands up and away from each other. Turn to the opposite side and draw the chi down in to the brass basin. So inhale. And exhale. Inhale, we gather the chi from the earth. Qi down from the heavens. All right, so open and filling the 8 vessels. Going to review briefly the few that we did previously, and then we're going to spend some detail on a couple more. So we started out with 7 stars press the earth. But to begin with, we need to be in a different stance. We're in the narrow stance here, and we need to be in the stacking of the bone stance. So we step out to the side, shift the weight. So this leg is straight, this leg, the knee is bent. The shoulders, the shoulder, the ribs, the hip, the ankle, all stacked up. This knee is bent as well. This is the stack of bones. If you had a broomstick, you could put it down by the ankle. It would touch the hip, and it would touch the ribs, and it would rest in front of the shoulders. That's the stack of bones. And then we come over here, and we check to see if the same thing's happening here. The feet are parallel, if possible. Knee bent, leg straight. Shoulder, ribs, hip, ankle, all in a pile. Let's come back here now. So 7 stars press the earth. Shift all the weight over here. This foot, the one that's got the straight leg but no weight, very little weight, lift the toes, pivot on the heel, turn the toes so they point to the toes of the other foot. This makes us the number 7 on the earth. So if you look at how the feet are arranged, it's a 7. And now, pushing into this back heel, keep this hip still, turn the torso, face this way. And so 7 stars press the earth. We're holding a ball into our chest. This is 7 stars press the earth. Let the arms relax, bring the feet parallel, shift over here, pivot on the heel, bring the toes so they point to the other foot. Press this heel into the earth. This leg is straight, this one's bent. The hips stay still. Turn the abdomen, turn the ribs, turn the shoulder. We're here. And we hang out here for several breaths. Now the feet come parallel and we're back here. So that was 7 stars press the earth. So the next one, the feet are still in the same basic stance, is divide heaven and earth. So once again we come over here, but there's a difference this time. So this leg, lift the heel, turn the foot away so the sole of the foot is pointing back behind me. And both knees are bent. So this knee is bent, this knee is bent, and you can lower down as much as you're comfortable. Keeping the hips stationary again. You don't want to be twisting the knee. Turn the abdomen, turn the ribs. So the leg that's back here with the heel lifted, that hand is high. Bring the fingertips and the thumb together. And that hand is just above the head. I can see it at the top of my vision. The other hand, bring the thumb and the fingers together and around the back. And you lower down as you're comfortable, staying within your comfort zone. And we hang out here for several breaths. And you come up. You come back here, and of course, we get to do it on the other side. So the feet are parallel. We're still in that stacking of the bone stance. All the weight's on this leg now. Lift this heel. Turn the sole of the foot so it points away. And you want to get the sole of the foot eventually to be vertical. We turn the hips without twisting the knees. Turn the abdomen so we're facing towards the side. Leg that's back, fingers and thumbs together up over the head. Other hand behind the back. And we lower down as we're comfortable. And you hold here for several breaths. And we come on up and the feet are parallel. Now, if you're doing a normal practice and where you're going through all of the open and filling the 8 vessels as part of your practice, you would do this on both sides, several times. And you'd hold for some number of breaths. So before you start the series, you want to decide how many repetitions am I going to do on each side, and how long am I going to hold the particular movement. And so you breathe in on the bell, you breathe out on the bell, and so you keep that breath, and so you go, okay, I'm going to hold for 4 breaths, and I'm going to do it on 4 sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, while holding for that whatever amount of breath that you want to go for. So next is standing in ba. Push the 2 poles. So this one, the feet are in a different place. We're back to our narrow stance. So recall that the heel just about touches the ball joint of the other foot. Lift the toes, lift the heel, and put the feet down. Now standing in ba, you want to bring the toes towards each other. So you turn in like this. And you may want to have the feet a little wider. Maybe they're exactly where they need to be. And so you may want to adjust the feet, perhaps, a little bit. You bend the knees a touch. Turn the toes in. You want to be able to lower down and have the knees, the thigh, come together with no twisting in the knee joint. It's important to take care of our knees. Then you tuck the tailbone in. You pull the belly button in. You lift the ribs. So this is protecting the lower back. And now, pushing the 2 poles. So you cross the hands in front and you push the wrists away. You draw the fingertips towards each other. And so you're looking to have the fingers pointing straight up to the heavens. So imagine you're pushing against a wall and your wrists and your fingers are touching the wall. Bring the shoulder blades towards each other. Look to the horizon. And we hold here, once again, for several breaths. So you inhale, and you exhale. You inhale, exhale. Then we come up and you let everything, and you may want to let the feet out as well. So that was once. And so we do it multiple times, holding for the same amount of breaths each time. So you come out to sort of give the body a bit of a rest. And then we move back in. So we set up the foundation first. As always, turn the toes towards each other. Bring the knees together. The thighs squeezing together, no twist in the knees. Tuck the tailbone in, pull the belly button in, lift the ribs, cross the arms, push the wrists away, draw the fingertips towards each other, gaze to the horizon, breathe in. And breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling. And exhale. And we'll let the arms come down and we come on up. So we're going to move on to twist like a rope in a few minutes here. But first of all, I want to talk about the breath, a very important part of our Qigong practice. When you hear the bell, you want to breathe in, you want to fill the lungs, you want to expand the abdomen. So it's a deep breath where we're filling and expanding the chest. And then on the exhale, we take all that breath out of the body and we expel it. So we're doing deep breathing here. So breathe in, fill the lungs, expand the abdomen. Breathe out. Draw the abdomen in. Push all the air out of the body. We breathe in and we breathe out through the nose as best we can. And now twist like a rope. This is different. Well, it has a different stance. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to back up a little bit. So twist like a rope. You take this leg and you turn it to the side a little bit. You do a C step. So you put all the weight on this leg. Bring the toe of the other foot by the heel. Follow the direction the foot's pointing in, and then swing to the side. So this is C-stepping. But we're doing this with a difference here. We're following the foot, but we're turning the heel. The toes point off to the side, and the heel is straight ahead here. And now lift the back heel. And so twist like a rope. You take the leg that's here in front, and you bring the hand up. You grab a rope, and you twist the hand around. So what happens is the palm is facing forward. Bring the thumb towards you, and then bring the little finger towards you. And now I'm looking at the palm, and we turn it even further. So the elbow is about the same height as the shoulder. Bring the other hand underneath. So the thumb is pointing down and the palm is flat. So this hand, the fingers are pointing up. This hand, the fingers are pointing across. And now you turn and you look behind and you sink down. Drop that knee. And we look over the shoulder. And once again, we hold for several breaths. Then you come up. And of course, we get to do the other side. So the foot's turned to the side a little bit. We step forward with a twisted stance. Lift the heel of the back foot. Both knees are bent. Leg that's in front. That arm grabs the rope and twists around. So the fingers point up. The elbow about the same height as the shoulder. Wrist over the elbow. The other hand underneath. Palm faces down. And then turn and look behind as we lower down towards the earth. And you hang out here for several breaths. And then we come back to the front. Now let's have a look from the side. So we're here. Take this foot, turn it to the side a little bit. So a little bit is like, this is straight ahead, and this is off at 90 degrees. So we're here like this. And so you want this foot to point about 45 degrees, maybe less. Put weight on this foot, and then we bring the other foot forward, put the heel down a comfortable distance forward, comfortable for you. And turn the toes away, in my case, towards the curtain. This knee's bent. This leg's going to be bent as well, because we're going to lift the heel and bend the knees and then turn in towards the curtain like this. But we got to set the arms up. Leg that's forward, that arm is high. Twist the hand around the rope. The other hand comes underneath, and bringing this hand around, you lift the heel, you turn the body, you turn the head, and you look behind. And then we come up and we come back to the front. So still, I'll move over here a little bit. Now we're going to go the opposite way. So feet are parallel, and this is stacking of the bone stance. We turn, we face this way. This foot's turned to the side a little bit. We're going to step forward and twist this foot. Both knees are bent. The leg that's forward, that arm is up. We twist around the rope. So the palm's facing away. Bring the thumb towards you, bring the little finger towards you. You can see the palm. Bring the other hand underneath. Lift the back heel. Turn in the body. And turn and lower as you're comfortable. And then you hang out here for several breaths. we come on up and we're back here. So that is twist like a rope. So we're going to do it once more on each side. So I'll come over here. Actually, no, we'll go on this side. I'm going to put the opposite foot forward. So this guy is pointing this way. You step forward like this. And this hand comes up. We twist around. We come around, lift the heel, and we twist, and we look behind. And we come on up, and now we're going to go the opposite way. Okay, and now this important point I want to discuss here for all the ones that involve twisting. So the divide heaven and earth is one of them. Twist like a rope is another. You know you're going the right way when you're closing the quad. So the quad is this area of the body where the legs come into the hips. And so when you're doing a twist, so we're here like this. This is so twist like a rope. We're here. If you turn this way, you're opening this area up. If you turn the opposite way, the legs come together and we're closing this area. It makes for a very stable and strong foundation for the movement that you're going to be doing next. So you know things are going right when you twist and you can feel the legs locking together. So there's pressure here of them coming together, and it's like, yes, this is what we're after. This makes the movement very strong, very stable. So closing the quad, an important part of these twisting movements. So we're going to move into the wrap-up for today with the 5 directions. So we need to adjust our stance once again, so that we're in that stacking of the bone stance. So stepping out to the side a little bit. Shoulders, ribs, hip, ankle, knee bent, legs straight. And the same thing over here. So the 5 directions are forward, backward, to the right, to the left, and then to the center. And we take 2 bells to get all the way down here. So it's inhale, watch the hands rise up. Exhale, watch the hands come down. Inhale, watch the hand come up from the side and down to the hip. Inhale, watch the hand rise up and down to the hip. Inhale, and come up. And exhale. 2 dings. Inhale, small triangle. Exhale, large triangle. Inhale, we reach to the side. Exhale, down to the hip. Inhale, we reach to the other side. Down to the hip. Inhale, small triangle. Exhale, large triangle. Inhale. Exhale. Inhaling. Exhale. Last cycle. And that's the class for today. So thank you all for coming. And we'll see you next time.